Chosen one, I want you to suspend all disbelief for just a moment and open your heart to receive this message. You may have spent years wrestling with feelings of exhaustion and frustration, believing that you were stuck in an endless cycle of waiting. The trials have been relentless, and it may feel like you've been trapped in a loop with no escape. But I am here to tell you that the truth you've been missing is profound, and it's about to change everything. God is not testing your patience as you have been led to believe. This is not a test of how long you can endure suffering, how much pain you can bear silently, or how well you can wait while nothing seems to move. No, the test you've been facing has been something far more powerful and essential to your destiny. God has been testing your integrity. I know it feels like you've been overlooked, abandoned, even as you've fought to hold on to what is right in a world that often rewards the opposite. You've worked tirelessly, prayed fervently, and sacrificed much only to find that your efforts have gone unnoticed. At times you've felt the weight of injustice as others who cut corners and compromised seem to get ahead. The frustration and disillusionment might have caused you to wonder if God has forgotten you, or worse, if your suffering is a punishment for your goodness. But I am here to tell you that every tear you've shed, every moment you've struggled in silence has been seen by God. You have not been forgotten. In fact, you've been passing a test that most others fail even if you didn't realize it. You've been tested not on your ability to wait or endure, but on your ability to remain untainted, to stay true to your core values, to choose integrity even when the world around you offered every temptation to compromise. Your test was not about how long you could hold on or how much you could take. It was about how pure you could stay under pressure. God wasn't watching the clock to see how long you could wait. He was watching your heart to see if in your moments of desperation, you would choose to remain unbroken, untainted, and uncorrupted. Most people, when faced with the weight of suffering, would have become bitter, resentful, or desperate enough to make compromises. But not you. In your darkest moments, when you were tempted to retaliate, to lie, to cheat, or to take shortcuts, you chose to remain pure. You didn't realize it at the time, but by making those choices, you were passing the incorruptibility exam, a test that very few ever pass. While others around you may have given in to the pressures of the world, you stood firm. You chose to be a vessel of honor, even when it felt like your efforts were for nothing. I want to reassure you that all of your struggles were not in vain. What you've been through, the waiting, the uncertainty, the battles you've fought alone, were not random. They were not a punishment. They were a part of God's divine plan to prepare you for something greater. God has been preparing you not for a future where you merely survive, but for one where you will thrive and lead. The delays you've encountered were not denials, they were moments of refinement. You see, in the kingdom of God, promotion does not come to those who are quick. Promotion comes to those who are solid, those who are unshakable. You've proven that you can stand in the fire and not be consumed. You've shown that you can hold the weight of the calling without crumbling under pressure. And now the time for your reward has come. The silence you've been experiencing is about to break. The waiting is over. You have passed the test that most others fail. And now God is ready to reveal the reward that you've earned. This is not just a simple message. It's a divine awakening. The season of suffering, of uncertainty, of waiting has prepared you for this moment. You are about to enter a new chapter in your life, one where everything you've endured will suddenly make sense. The door that has been locked for so long is about to swing wide open, and you will step into a season of breakthrough, of divine favor, and of unshakable authority. But before we go deeper, I ask you to stay with me. This is not just about understanding why you've been stuck. It's about preparing for what's coming next. In the next few moments, you will discover the 7 forms of confrontation that will arise as you move into your next season. You will also learn about the secret buried deep within your bloodline that makes you a cycle breaker for your family. It's time for you to walk in the fullness of your calling. And this message is the blueprint for that transformation. So stay with me, because what you are about to receive will change everything. For so long, you've been carrying the weight of a misconception that has shaped your entire journey. You thought that your test was about patience, that God was sitting back watching the clock, just waiting to see how much more you could endure. You believed that the key to unlocking your breakthrough was simply holding on, waiting for the moment when God would finally decide you'd suffered enough. But I am here to tell you that the test you've been enduring was never about time. It was never about how long you could hold on. It was always about something much deeper: your integrity. God wasn't looking at your calendar. He was examining your heart. The test was about your ability to remain pure and untainted in a world that constantly offers you compromises. Integrity in its purest form is a reflection of the character of God. It's about staying true to what you know is right, even when no one is watching. Even when the world is trying to drag you into its own system of shortcuts, lies, and false promises. It's about refusing to take the easy way out. The quick fix, the shortcut, that would have given you temporary relief, but would have compromised your soul. That was the test. The moments when you were desperate, when it seemed like the weight of your situation was too much to bear, and when the temptation to compromise felt overwhelming, those were the moments that revealed your true character. You chose integrity. You chose to stand firm. You chose to hold on to your purity, even when it felt like the world was passing you by. During those times when the waiting felt like it was stretching into eternity, when you saw others getting ahead by taking the easy route, you might have questioned yourself. Why weren't you seeing the results of your hard work? Why did it seem like the people around you who didn't even care about integrity were reaping rewards while you were still waiting? That was the emotional fatigue, the dissonance you felt deep within your soul. It's like a battle between the truth you know in your heart and the reality that you're seeing with your eyes. You've questioned if your integrity is even worth it. You've wondered if you made the right choice by staying pure when it felt like everyone else was getting ahead by bending the rules. But let me tell you, what you've been feeling is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of victory. You have been passing the incorruptibility test, and you didn't even realize it. God's evaluation of you was never about the time you spent waiting. It was never about how long you could endure. The testing was about the vessel, about your integrity, your ability to remain pure under pressure, your refusal to bend to the world's way of doing things. God wasn't watching your clock. He was watching your character. He was looking at the purity of your heart and the strength of your spirit. When you chose not to retaliate, when you chose not to compromise, when you refused to take the easy path, you were passing the test that most people never even see. The world tells you that the quickest way to success is through shortcuts, manipulation, and compromise. But you chose differently. You chose to stay true to yourself. And that choice has qualified you for something greater than you could have imagined. It's time to shift your perspective. The waiting wasn't a punishment. It was a refining process. God wasn't trying to see how much you could endure. He was allowing you to be refined, to be purified, so that when the time comes for your breakthrough, you'll be ready to carry the weight of it without cracking under pressure. Your integrity wasn't just tested in those big moments of decision. It was tested in the quiet moments when no one was looking. It was tested in the small, everyday choices to stay true to your values, to reject the world's offers of easy success, to refuse to compromise even when it hurt. Now, as you stand on the threshold of your breakthrough, you can look back and see the evidence of your success. The delays were not denials. The silence was not abandonment. God was simply preparing you, refining you, ensuring that your vessel could hold the weight of the blessing He is about to pour into your life. The test of incorruptibility was never about how long you could wait. It was about how solid, how unshakable your integrity could remain while you waited. And you have passed. Now that you've passed the integrity test, it's time for you to step into the next phase of your journey. The phase where the enemy, threatened by your purity and steadfastness, will try to disrupt the very breakthrough you've been waiting for. In the next 40 days, as you prepare for the activation of your divine purpose, you will face 7 distinct forms of confrontation. These confrontations are not random challenges, nor are they merely obstacles in your path. They are calculated attacks designed to test your resolve, to test the strength of your vessel, and to attempt to derail you before the fullness of God's blessing can be poured into your life. These confrontations are designed to make you doubt, to make you question everything you fought for, and to make you second-guess the purity of your choices. But let me assure you, they are not signs of failure. They are signs of progress. The enemy is not threatened by the weak or the complacent. He is threatened by those who stand firm in their integrity, those who refuse to compromise their values, and those who are destined to break cycles of destruction in their bloodlines. You chosen one are that person. You are the cycle breaker, the one who has been chosen to change the course of your family's legacy. As you enter this next chapter, it's crucial that you understand the battle you are about to face. These confrontations will be subtle, and they may come in forms you least expect. They are not just about external circumstances, but about the internal battles you will face in your own mind and spirit. The enemy knows that if he can attack you from the outside, he can create cracks in your vessel. But he also knows that if he can stir up internal confusion and doubt, he can get you to question your identity and your purpose. You must be prepared to recognize these attacks for what they truly are: strategies designed to break you, distract you, and make you settle for less than what God has promised. This is why I want you to approach these next 40 days with heightened discernment and spiritual awareness. Every temptation, every attack, every confrontation that comes your way is a test. It's a test to see if you will stay true to your integrity, if you will continue to stand firm in your identity, and if you will keep moving forward despite the challenges. Your role as a cycle breaker is not just about fighting external forces. It's about recognizing the hidden strategies of the enemy and refusing to fall into his traps. The strength you need to overcome these confrontations has already been built in you. You've been tested and refined. Now it's time to activate that strength and use it to fight for your destiny. The 7 forms of confrontation you will face in the next 40 days are designed to expose any weak points in your character and test your spiritual maturity. They will come at you in different ways: financial, relational, emotional, and spiritual. But each one will require you to respond with wisdom, patience, and strength. The key to overcoming them is not in reacting impulsively, but in recognizing the pattern behind the attack and responding with authority. Each of these confrontations is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your growth, to show that you are no longer the person who could be easily swayed, but the person who has been forged in fire and is now unbreakable. As you prepare for the activation ceremony that will propel you into your next season, I want you to hold on to one powerful truth. You are not alone in this battle. Heaven is with you. The Holy Spirit is guiding you, and the angels are surrounding you. You have been equipped for this moment, and everything you need to overcome the enemy's schemes has already been placed within you. It's time for you to rise up and claim the authority that God has given you. This is the moment when you stop waiting and start receiving. The victory is already yours, and with each confrontation you face, you will grow stronger and more aligned with the divine purpose that has been set before you. In the next section, we will dive deeper into each of the 7 forms of confrontation and how you can recognize them, dismantle them, and keep moving forward with confidence and power. But for now, understand this. These confrontations are not the end of your journey. They are the gateway to your breakthrough. You are about to walk into the fullness of your purpose, and the enemy is simply trying to delay what is already ordained. But his plans will fail because you are a vessel of honor and you have passed the test of incorruptibility. You are ready for what is coming next. Now let's prepare for the battle ahead. As you move forward in your journey, it's important to understand the true significance of the integrity test you've just passed. You are not alone in this battle. Throughout history, there have been many who have faced similar challenges, and God's Word is filled with examples of people who were tested in the same way. One of the most powerful examples we can look to is the story of Daniel, a man whose integrity under pressure made him stand out among many. His story is a perfect illustration of what it means to remain pure, unyielding, and faithful, even when the world around you is urging you to compromise. Daniel's story takes place in Babylon, a place that represents a system of compromise, corruption, and worldly rewards. As a young man, Daniel was taken captive and forced into the service of King Nebuchadnezzar. He was given the finest food, the best education, and the opportunity to climb the ranks in the king's court. It was a tempting offer, one that many would have gladly accepted in exchange for comfort and status. But Daniel, knowing the ways of his God, chose a different path. He refused to defile himself with the king's food and wine, which went against his faith and values. Even when it seemed like the easiest route to advancement was through compromise, Daniel stood firm in his commitment to remain pure before God. His decision wasn't a small one. It was a choice that would define his entire future. In the same way you chosen one have been faced with opportunities to take shortcuts in your own life, moments where it seemed like compromising your values would bring you the relief or success you so desperately sought. Whether it's the temptation to lie on an application to cut corners in your business or to compromise your integrity for financial gain, the world offers countless ways to achieve quick success without holding on to truth. But like Daniel, you've chosen to resist those temptations. You've chosen to stay true to who you are, to remain faithful to your calling, and to trust that God's timing is greater than any shortcut this world can offer. This is not an easy path. It's not the path of instant gratification or worldly recognition. It is the path of integrity, and it is the path that leads to spiritual promotion. What makes Daniel's story so powerful is not just that he refused to compromise, but that his refusal to compromise ultimately led to his promotion. The king noticed Daniel's unwavering commitment to his beliefs and integrity, and as a result, Daniel was elevated to a position of great authority in the kingdom. This is the key to understanding the significance of your own journey, chosen one. When you choose integrity over compromise, you position yourself for spiritual promotion. God sees your faithfulness, your strength in resisting the temptations that seek to pull you away from your divine purpose, and He rewards that faithfulness in His perfect timing. Just like Daniel, You may have faced moments where it seemed like the path of least resistance was to give in to compromise for the sake of convenience or to take what the world offers. But in those moments, you chose to trust God instead. You held on to the truth that God's ways are higher than the world's, and that the reward He has for you is worth far more than anything the world can offer. Every time you refused the shortcut, every time you chose the harder path of integrity, you were not just standing firm in the face of temptation, you were positioning yourself for promotion, for the reward that only comes when you remain steadfast and true. Now, as you stand on the threshold of your breakthrough, remember that your integrity is what has brought you here. The temptations you resisted, the moments you chose to stay true to your faith, even when no one was watching, have shaped you into the person you are today. And just like Daniel, your faithfulness has not gone unnoticed. God is about to elevate you to a new level, to give you authority and influence, not just for your own benefit, but to impact those around you and break cycles in your family and community. You have proven yourself to be someone who can be trusted with greater responsibility, someone who can carry the weight of glory without being crushed under it. So, chosen one, let this be a reminder to you. Integrity is not just about resisting the world's temptations. It's about positioning yourself for the rewards and promotions that God has prepared for you. The integrity test you've passed is not the end of your journey, it's the beginning of your promotion. God is about to open doors for you, doors that you've been waiting for, and He is about to pour out blessings in ways you can't even imagine. Just as Daniel was promoted because of his unwavering integrity, so will you be promoted in God's perfect timing. Stay true to who you are, stay true to your faith, and watch as God begins to unfold your divine destiny. Now that you've passed the integrity test, it's time to shift your focus. This test wasn't just about enduring hardship or resisting temptation. It was about preparing you for the reward that is now within reach. You've been faithful, you've held your ground, and you've chosen purity over compromise even when the world offered you shortcuts. And now God is ready to pour out His reward upon you. But let me be clear, the reward that God has prepared for you is not just about material gain. It is far more powerful and far more significant than anything the world can offer. The reward is dominion and authority, a divine authority that will enable you to shift atmospheres, influence lives, and break chains in your family and community. This reward, however, is not something that can be given lightly. It is not a gift to be taken for granted. Dominion and authority are not just titles or positions. They are sacred responsibilities. God has been preparing you for this moment, refining you through every test, every trial, and every moment of waiting. He has been strengthening you, shaping you, and building your capacity to carry this divine power. And now, as you stand at the threshold of your breakthrough, you are about to step into a new realm of influence and purpose. You are about to be entrusted with the kind of authority that can change the course of not just your life, but the lives of those around you. You see, the integrity test you've just passed was not an end in itself. It was the means by which God ensured that you were ready to receive this divine authority. If you had not remained pure, if you had compromised your integrity along the way, this authority would have been too much for you to handle. God doesn't just give power to anyone. He gives it to those who have been tested and proven. Your integrity is the foundation upon which your authority will be built. The purity of your vessel has prepared you to carry the weight of this responsibility without being crushed by it. The reward is not just about having influence. It's about having the power to change the very atmosphere around you. You will walk into rooms and change the dynamics simply by your presence. You will have the authority to shift hearts, to heal wounds, and to break chains of bondage. Your life will no longer be confined to the limitations of your past or the struggles you've faced. God is elevating you to a place where you will have the power to influence not just your immediate surroundings, but the world at large. This dominion is not just for your personal benefit, it is for the generations that come after you. You are being positioned as a leader not just for today, but for the future. Your reward is not just about what you can achieve in this season. It is about what you will leave behind. The authority you now carry will reshape your lineage, bringing transformation and breakthrough to the generations that follow. You are breaking the cycles that have plagued your family for years. The struggles you've faced, the battles you've fought, have all been preparing you for this moment when you will step into the fullness of your divine purpose. As you begin to walk in this new authority, it's important to understand that this is not a reward you can take lightly. Dominion and authority are not just about control, they are about stewardship. God is entrusting you with power not to use for selfish gain, but to bring about His will on earth. This is why your integrity was tested. You had to prove that you could be trusted with this kind of power that could impact not just your life, but the lives of those around you and beyond. The reward you are receiving is not just a gift, but a responsibility to walk in humility, to use your authority wisely, and to honor God in all that you do. Your reward is not about fame or fortune. It is about the ability to influence and lead with wisdom, grace, and righteousness. The world will see the results of your integrity, and they will witness the transformation in your life. People will be drawn to the power and authority you carry, but it is important that you always remember the source of that power. It is not from your own strength, but from God. He is the one who has refined you, who has tested you, and who has now given you the authority to carry out His will. So chosen one, as you step into this new season, embrace the reward that is being poured out upon you. Walk in your divine authority with confidence, knowing that you are prepared, that you have been tested and refined, and that God is with you every step of the way. This is your time. This is your moment. You have earned the right to step into your calling, to walk in dominion, and to change the world. As you step into this new season fully aware of the authority and dominion that is being entrusted to you, it is crucial to understand that the battle is not over. In fact, the real test begins now. The enemy, knowing he cannot stop you from receiving your reward, will attempt to undermine your progress in subtle, often hidden ways. These attacks are designed to crack the vessel that God has so carefully refined, to create fractures in your integrity that could cause you to lose your footing. But chosen one, you have already passed the first and most critical test. You've proven that your vessel is strong enough to withstand the pressure. Now you must remain vigilant and discerning as you face the more subtle attacks that will come your way. One of the most insidious ways the enemy tries to crack your vessel is through retaliation. It's a temptation that many don't even realize is a trap. When someone wrongs you, when they betray you, lie about you, or treat you unjustly, the natural response is often to fight back. The world tells you that you have the right to get even, that justice demands you retaliate. The enemy knows this and will often present you with opportunities to lash out, to seek revenge, to right the wrongs by your own hand. But you chosen one have already passed this test. When you had the ammunition to destroy someone, when you had the proof, the screenshots, the emails that could have exposed them, you chose silence. You chose forgiveness. You chose to commit the judgment to God instead of taking it into your own hands. That moment when you chose not to retaliate was the first pillar of integrity that you passed without even realizing it. In the spirit, that moment was recorded as a victory, one that preserved your vessel and kept it pure. The enemy wanted you to be consumed by bitterness, to allow the injustice to harden your heart and break your integrity. But you refuse to give him that victory. Another subtle attack the enemy uses is the temptation to compromise. When you're in a season of waiting, when the pressure to provide for yourself or your family becomes overwhelming, the enemy will present you with opportunities to take shortcuts, to make deals that go against your values, to accept the easy solution that comes with a price. It may look like a financial opportunity that promises relief but requires you to bend your principles. It may come in the form of a job that promises security but asks you to do something unethical. Or it may show up as a relationship that offers comfort but demands you compromise your boundaries. These moments are the enemy's way of testing your integrity. Will you take the shortcut to comfort? Or will you stay true to the path that God has set before you? Even if it means enduring a little longer in discomfort, you have already passed this test. When you were faced with the temptation to take the easy route, to compromise for the sake of relief, you stood firm. You chose to trust God's timing instead of forcing things to happen on your terms. You walked away from the quick fix, from the financial deal that required compromise, from the temporary comfort that would have cost you your peace. And in doing so, you preserved the purity of your vessel, keeping it open for the true blessings that God is about to pour into your life. But perhaps the most dangerous subtle attack the enemy uses is the temptation to close your heart. After all the betrayal, all the hurt, all the loneliness, the natural inclination is to build walls around your heart, to become cold and distant, to stop giving and caring because you feel like you've been burned too many times. The world teaches us to protect ourselves, to guard our hearts, to never let anyone in who might hurt us. But God calls us to a different way. He calls us to keep our hearts soft, to remain generous and compassionate, even when it seems like we're the ones who need help. This is where the true test of integrity is revealed. When you choose to stay open and generous, when you choose to love, even when it's hard, you are walking in the highest form of integrity. And you chosen one have passed this test. Even when you were hurting, even when you were empty, you chose to pour into others. You gave when you didn't have enough for yourself. You prayed for others when you needed prayer. You kept your heart soft and refused to let the pain turn you into someone you weren't. In doing so, you showed that your vessel was not only strong, but also pure and unbreakable. These tests, the temptation to retaliate, to compromise, and to close your heart, are not easy. They come when you are at your most vulnerable, when the pressure feels unbearable, and when the enemy is hoping you will crack under the weight. But you have already proven that you are not easily shaken. The integrity you have displayed, the choices you've made in the secret place have fortified your vessel and prepared you for the reward that is about to come. Each time you resisted the urge to retaliate, each time you refused to compromise for quick relief, each time you kept your heart open and generous in the face of betrayal, you grew stronger. And now, as you stand on the precipice of your breakthrough, you can be confident that you are ready. You have passed the subtle tests that most people never even see, and you are poised to step into the fullness of your divine destiny. The enemy may continue to throw challenges your way, but you are no longer the person who will be swayed by them. You are a vessel of honor, strong and pure, and nothing will stop the reward that God has prepared for you. As you stand on the threshold of your breakthrough, it's important for you to recognize the weight and significance of your mission. You are not just living for today. You are not just working for personal success or striving for a breakthrough that will solely impact your own life. No, chosen one, you are a cycle breaker. This is your divine calling. You have passed the subtle tests that most people never even see, and you are poised to step into the fullness of your divine destiny. The enemy may continue to throw challenges your way, but you are no longer the person who will be swayed by them. You are a vessel of honor, strong and pure, and nothing will stop the reward that God has prepared for you. This is your divine calling. You are the one who has been chosen to carry the weight of generational healing, to step into the gap and disrupt the destructive patterns that have plagued your family for generations. The mission you carry is not small. It is the kind of mission that can change the course of history, not just for you, but for everyone connected to you. This journey has not been easy. You've been tested in ways that others may never understand. The pressure you've felt has not just been about you, it has been about breaking the chains of your bloodline, undoing the negative patterns that have been passed down from generation to generation. This is why your integrity has been tested, why your character has been refined, and why you've faced trials that seemed so disproportionate to your circumstances. You are not just being prepared for your own breakthrough. You are being prepared to carry the weight of a much larger responsibility to heal and restore what was broken in your bloodline. To truly understand the depth of your role as a cycle breaker, we must first acknowledge the reality of the generational curses that have impacted your family. These curses are not merely about isolated events or random misfortunes. They are deep spiritual forces, patterns of iniquity, that have been passed down from your ancestors, shaping the trajectory of your family's history. The Bible speaks about these patterns in Exodus 34:7, where it says, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and to the fourth generation. This speaks to a powerful and sobering truth. The destructive consequences of our actions can ripple through time, affecting the lives of our descendants long after we are gone. But there is hope, and that hope is found in you. You are the one who has been chosen to break the cycle. God has chosen you to be the one who will stop the flow of these generational curses and bring healing to the wounds that have been passed down. This is no small task. You are not just fighting against your own struggles. You are fighting against a spiritual inheritance that has been built over generations. You are confronting the bitterness, the addiction, the poverty, the abuse, the broken marriages, the cycles of failure that have defined your family for so long. These patterns are not just random, they are the result of spiritual forces that have been at work in your family for centuries. But God has placed in you the power to change all of that. The testing of your integrity was not just for your own character, it was to ensure that you could handle the weight of this responsibility. You see, integrity is not just about doing the right thing when it's easy. It's about doing the right thing when the stakes are high, when the pressure is unbearable, and when the cost seems too great. God has tested you in this way to ensure that when you step into your role as a cycle breaker, you will have the strength and the character to carry this mission through. It's not just about having success for success's sake. It's about being entrusted with the weight of generations. You had to prove that you could remain pure under pressure, that you could choose the harder path, the path of integrity, even when it seemed like everyone around you was taking shortcuts. This is what has prepared you to break the cycles in your family. By refusing to compromise, by choosing to stay pure and unbroken, you have proven that you are capable of carrying the weight of this responsibility. You are the one who will stand in the gap, not just for yourself, but for your entire family. Your decisions, your integrity, your refusal to settle for less than God's best will break the chains that have held your family in bondage for so long. The enemy may have tried to ensnare you in the same traps that your ancestors fell into, but you have risen above them. You have passed the tests, and now you are ready to break the cycle. As you take your place in this mission, understand that the bloodline curse of iniquity that has affected your family is being broken through your choices. Every decision you make to live with integrity, to walk in purity, To refuse the compromises that the world offers is a direct strike against the spiritual forces that have held your family back. You may not see it in the natural, but in the spiritual realm, there is a war being waged, and you are winning it. Every time you choose to forgive instead of retaliate, every time you choose to trust God instead of taking a shortcut, you are dismantling the power of those generational curses. You are rewriting the story of your family, and you are doing it with every righteous decision you make. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the magnitude of the task ahead, but I want to remind you of something incredibly important. You are not alone in this fight. You have been equipped with everything you need to succeed. God has given you the strength, the wisdom, and the integrity to carry this mantle. Your bloodline may have been shaped by destructive patterns, but those patterns do not define you. You are the one who will change the course of your family's history. You are the one who will bring restoration, healing, and breakthrough. The spiritual inheritance you carry is not just about the past, it is about the future. As you break these cycles, you are not just liberating yourself. You are setting your children, your grandchildren, and future generations free from the bondage that has held them captive. You are creating a new legacy, one of strength, of integrity, of healing, and of divine purpose. This is your mission as a cycle breaker, to stand in the gap, to resist the patterns of destruction, and to bring a new wave of blessing into your bloodline. So, chosen one, as you move forward, embrace the weight of this mission with confidence. You are the one who will break the chains. You are the one who will rewrite the story. Your integrity has already prepared you to carry this responsibility, and now you are stepping into your divine destiny. Trust that every decision you make to honor God, to stay pure, to resist the enemy's schemes, is pushing back the darkness and bringing light to your family's future. The enemy may have tried to hold you back, but you are a force to be reckoned with. You are the cycle breaker, and your mission has only just begun. As you enter the next phase of your journey, prepared and refined by all the tests you've already faced, the enemy is not about to let go quietly. In fact, he will launch his most calculated attacks yet, trying to prevent you from stepping into the full weight of your destiny. These attacks will come in subtle, insidious ways that can seem perfectly logical or even tempting, but they are designed to undermine your integrity, shake your confidence, and ultimately derail your breakthrough. In this section, we will identify the 7 forms of confrontation that will challenge you in the next 40 days. Each form is a test, a moment when you will be asked to stand firm in your faith and integrity. Understanding these attacks ahead of time will give you the discernment you need to recognize them and respond with power. The first confrontation you will face is the financial counterfeit. This is one of the most dangerous forms of attack because it targets a very real need: your finances. The enemy knows that financial pressure can make you desperate, so he will present you with opportunities that look like easy, quick fixes to your financial struggles. These may come in the form of job offers, business deals, or investments that promise immediate gain, but require you to compromise your values or integrity. It may seem harmless at first, a small ethical compromise that will make your life easier, but that compromise will come with a heavy price. The financial counterfeit is designed to tempt you into taking shortcuts that will ultimately harm your vessel. You have already proven that you are capable of waiting for God's timing, and this confrontation will test that ability again. When the temptation of easy money comes your way, remember it is always better to be hungry in God's will than full outside of it. If it doesn't align with your integrity and your purpose, say no. Your breakthrough will come in God's timing, and any offer that requires you to bend your morals is not from him. The second form of confrontation is the ghost from the past. This attack targets your relationships and aims to pull you back into old cycles, old habits, and old patterns that you've already worked so hard to break. It could come in the form of an ex-lover reaching out after years of silence, a former friend showing up at the most vulnerable time, or someone from your past trying to re-enter your life. This temptation is designed to drag you back into familiar dysfunction. The enemy knows that you've broken free from the chains of your past, and he will attempt to re-establish those connections, hoping to get you to compromise your progress. The temptation may look innocent, even flattering, but it is a trap. The connections that have been broken for a reason are not meant to be restored. They are part of the past that God has delivered you from. Stay vigilant, chosen one. Do not allow the past to re-enter your life and disrupt the purity you've worked so hard to maintain. You are no longer who you were. Do not let the ghost of your old life haunt you. Next, you will face the shortcut. This is the temptation to bypass the process, the lure of quick success, fast fame, or immediate recognition. In a world that prizes instant gratification, this form of confrontation will be especially potent. The enemy will try to convince you that you deserve success right now, that your waiting has been long enough, and that you can take a faster path to your reward. It may look like an opportunity to leap ahead without doing the hard work, or a situation where taking a shortcut would get you the recognition or position you've been longing for. But shortcuts always come with hidden costs. When you try to bypass the process, you miss out on the lessons that the journey itself teaches you. God is building your character, preparing you for the authority you're about to carry. And if you skip steps, you risk losing what He's preparing you for. Trust the process, chosen one. The reward will come, and it will be far more fulfilling when you've earned it the right way. The comparison trap is another form of confrontation that will emerge particularly in moments of delay. This is one of the most subtle and insidious attacks, because it will tempt you to compare your journey with others. When you see people who seem to have less integrity, less purpose, or less commitment to God, succeeding faster or more easily than you, the enemy will whisper in your ear, "Why not you? Why them and not you? What's wrong with your path?" The temptation to compare yourself to others will sow seeds of envy, jealousy, and self-doubt. But you must understand that your journey is unique. Your timing is perfect because it is aligned with God's will for your life. The people you are comparing yourself to are not walking in the same purpose, and their success does not diminish your own. Keep your eyes on your race, chosen one. When you start comparing, you slow down and lose focus on what God has set before you. Stay in your lane and trust that what's meant for you will never pass you by. Another confrontation you will face is doubt. This one is a silent killer creeping in at the most vulnerable moments, just when you're about to step into your breakthrough. The enemy knows that doubt can undermine the confidence you've worked so hard to build. And so he will whisper, "Are you really chosen? Did you really hear from God? Is this all just a delusion?" The doubt may not come in a loud, obvious way. It might just be a lingering thought or a whisper in your ear at 3 a.m. This is the enemy's strategy to make you question your identity, your calling, and your purpose. But chosen one, you have already seen the evidence of God's hand in your life. You have already proven your integrity and your faithfulness. When the doubt comes, stand firm in the truth of who you are. You are a child of God, chosen and called for such a time as this. Do not let the enemy shake your confidence. Answer doubt with faith and remember the promises God has spoken over your life. Isolation will be another form of confrontation you will face, especially in moments of waiting. The enemy will try to convince you that you are alone, that no one understands your struggles, and that you are the only one facing the hardships you're enduring. He will seek to isolate you emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. He knows that when you're alone, you're more vulnerable to his attacks. This is why the enemy will bring feelings of loneliness, especially when you are on the brink of your breakthrough. But remember, chosen one, you are never truly alone. God is with you every step of the way, and he has surrounded you with his presence. Even in moments of isolation, you are being prepared for greater things. Do not allow the enemy to convince you that your loneliness is a sign of abandonment. It is often in the solitude that God does his deepest work. Stand firm and trust that this season of isolation is part of your divine preparation. Finally, you will face premature pride. This is the most dangerous form of confrontation, especially when you start to see glimpses of success or breakthrough. When you've been waiting for so long and then things start to shift, the enemy will tempt you to celebrate too early. He will try to convince you that the battle is over, that you've already won, and that you can take your foot off the gas. But chosen one, remember the lesson of staying humble. The breakthrough is coming, but you must stay vigilant. Premature pride leads to complacency, and complacency leaves room for the enemy to strike. Keep your armor on. Keep your heart humble. God has called you to this moment, and he is the one who will see you through. When the breakthrough comes, don't let it make you arrogant. Let it make you even more reliant on God, and even more thankful for the journey that brought you here. Each of these 7 forms of confrontation will test you in different ways, but by recognizing them for what they are, you will have the power to overcome them. Stay alert, stay grounded in your integrity, and stay connected to your divine purpose. You are stronger than you realize, and with each victory, you will draw closer to the destiny that God has prepared for you. As you stand on the precipice of your breakthrough, preparing to step fully into your divine destiny, it is essential to understand that this next phase of your journey requires not only discernment and strength, but also a deep commitment to maintaining the purity of your vessel. The authority and dominion that are being entrusted to you are powerful, but they come with a responsibility, one that demands spiritual vigilance and daily alignment with God's will. To fully walk in your purpose and carry the weight of the blessings and authority God is about to pour into your life, you must activate the purity protocol in your life. This is the final step in your preparation, the spiritual process that will ensure your vessel remains clean, your integrity unbroken, and your actions aligned with divine purpose. Visualizing. The spiritual process means understanding that your journey is not just about the external world, about your achievements, your breakthroughs, or even the doors that are about to open. It's about the internal transformation that must happen to prepare you for what's coming. Just as a potter shapes clay, God has been shaping your heart and your character throughout this entire process. Now, as you prepare to carry the weight of divine authority, it's time for you to take up the spiritual responsibility of guarding your inner world, of keeping your vessel pure and free from any contamination that might cause you to lose your way. The first and most critical aspect of the purity protocol is the necessity of a daily spiritual check. You cannot afford to become complacent now. It is easy to think that once you've passed the tests, once the breakthrough is within reach, you can relax. But the truth is, the closer you get to your destiny, the more intentional you must be about guarding your heart and spirit. Every day, you must take time to check your motives to ensure that everything you do is aligned with God's will. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is my true intention behind my actions? The purity protocol begins with self-awareness. It's about looking inward, being brutally honest with yourself, and ensuring that everything you do, whether big or small, is motivated by a desire to honor God, not yourself. This is crucial because the enemy will often use seemingly good opportunities to lure you off track. He knows that if he can get you to act out of selfish ambition, pride, or a desire for recognition, he can contaminate your vessel. But when you remain pure in your motives, when your heart is set on glorifying God rather than seeking personal gain, you protect yourself from his schemes. The second aspect of the purity protocol is the importance of guarding your spirit from pride, comparison, and doubt. These are the three silent killers of spiritual integrity. Pride is the subtle temptation to think that you have arrived, that you have achieved something on your own, and that you no longer need to rely on God. It's the thought that creeps into your mind when you begin to see success, when doors start opening, and you start to feel like you're in control of your destiny. Pride is the enemy of humility, and it can easily cause you to lose sight of the one who has brought you this far. Stay humble, chosen one. Never forget that the authority you carry is not your own. It is a gift from God. You are a steward of His power, and that stewardship requires constant humility, constant reliance on Him. The second spiritual pitfall you must guard against is comparison. As you step into your new season, the enemy will try to make you look sideways to compare your journey with that of others. The temptation to compare yourself to those who seem to have achieved more or reached their goals faster will be strong, but you must resist it. Comparison steals your joy and focus. It distracts you from your own path and leads you to believe that God's plan for you is somehow less than what others are experiencing. But your journey is unique. Your timing is divinely orchestrated. The success of others does not diminish the greatness of your own purpose. When you focus on your own race, when you keep your eyes on the finish line that God has set before you, you will run with endurance and strength. Comparison only slows you down and distracts you from the work God is doing in your life. Keep your focus on your purpose and trust that God's plan for you is exactly what you need. The third spiritual threat you must guard against is doubt. Doubt is the quiet whisper that comes when things aren't moving as quickly as you hoped, or when the enemy tries to convince you that you've misunderstood your calling. Doubt undermines your confidence and shakes your faith. It is a direct attack on your belief in the promises of God. In the face of doubt, you must hold firm to what God has already spoken to you. Remember the moments when He has revealed His plan, the times He has shown you glimpses of your future, the promises He has spoken over your life. Doubt may come, but you must answer it with the truth. When the enemy whispers that you're not worthy, that you're not capable, that you've missed your chance, rebuke it with the Word of God. Declare His promises over your life and remind yourself that you are chosen. You are qualified and you are empowered for this mission. As you begin to walk in your divine purpose, the purity protocol also involves aligning your actions with divine purpose. This means that everything you do must be intentional and aligned with the calling on your life. No longer can you afford to act on impulse or follow the world's patterns of success. You must be intentional in your decisions, carefully considering each step and ensuring that it aligns with God's will for your life. This is a time of spiritual maturity, a time when you must walk with great awareness, not just for yourself, but for the impact you will have on others. Your actions must be guided by your calling, not by the world's standards. You are called to be a leader, a pioneer, and a healer, and every action you take must reflect that purpose. The purity protocol also involves maintaining spiritual integrity even when no one is watching. This is where your true character is revealed. It's easy to act with integrity when people are watching, when there's recognition and reward. But true integrity is revealed in the quiet moments when you are alone, when no one knows the choices you're making. It's in these moments that your faithfulness to God is proven. In the stillness of your heart, when you think no one is looking, that is when the purity protocol is most critical. This is when you guard your spirit against bitterness, when you protect your heart from unforgiveness, and when you keep your thoughts aligned with God's truth. That finally, as you activate the purity protocol, understand that this process is ongoing. It's not a one-time event, but a daily commitment to keep your vessel clean, your heart pure, and your motives aligned with God's will. The authority and dominion that God is entrusting to you are powerful, but they must be handled with care. The weight of the blessing and responsibility you are about to carry requires constant self-awareness and constant surrender to God. As you stay vigilant in guarding your heart, staying humble, avoiding comparison, and resisting doubt, you will maintain the purity of your vessel. And when you do, God will continue to pour His blessings into your life, expanding your capacity for greatness. So chosen. One, take this time seriously. Guard your spirit with everything you have. Keep your heart humble, your motives pure, and your eyes fixed on the purpose God has set before you. You are not just walking into your breakthrough. You are walking into the legacy of healing and transformation for your family, your community, and the generations to come. The purity protocol will keep you on track, keep you aligned, and keep you prepared for the weight of glory that God is about to pour into your life. Keep your heart and mind focused, because the best is yet to come. As you stand at the edge of everything you've worked for, everything you've endured, everything you've trusted God for, the moment has arrived. This is the final activation, the moment where you step fully into your new identity and the responsibility that comes with it. No longer are you just waiting, hoping, or praying for something to happen. You are now positioned to receive. The season of waiting is over. God has been preparing you for this exact moment, and now the doors are swinging wide open. It's time for you to step into the authority that has been divinely prepared for you. The transition you are about to experience is not just a minor change, it is a shift that will impact every area of your life. Everything you've been waiting for, everything you've been holding on to through trials, and every lesson you've learned has brought you to this point. This shift is marked by a sense of divine acceleration. Where you once felt like time was crawling, now you will feel things moving faster than ever before. The delays you've experienced were not wasted time, they were preparation. Now that you are ready, God is about to accelerate your life in a way that will astonish you. Opportunities that once seemed distant are now within your reach. Blessings that once felt like they were out of your grasp are about to pour in, and all of it is happening in alignment with God's perfect timing. This acceleration is not just about material blessings or external success. It's about a divine shift that will deepen your sense of purpose, expand your influence, and empower you to break cycles that have held your family, your community, and your generations captive. You are not just stepping into a new season of personal success. You are stepping into your role as a cycle breaker, a leader, and a vessel of God's power and authority. You've been chosen for this mission because God knows you are capable. You've proven your integrity, your strength, and your faithfulness. You are equipped to handle the weight of the authority you are about to carry. The world will look at you and see someone who is ready to make an impact, to bring healing, and to bring change. So, chosen one, I encourage you to step boldly into your new role. Don't hesitate, don't second-guess yourself, and don't shrink back. This is the time for you to walk in the fullness of your destiny. You have been equipped with everything you need to succeed, and you are about to see the fruits of your labor manifest in ways that will blow your mind. This is not just about the reward you've been waiting for. It's about the legacy you are about to leave. Your decisions, your actions, your integrity have set the stage for a powerful transformation, not just in your life, but in the lives of those around you and the generations to come. Now, as we close, I want to seal this moment in prayer. I want to affirm the new position you've stepped into and the divine blessings that are about to flow into your life. Heavenly Father, we come before you, giving thanks for the chosen ones standing in this moment of divine activation. Lord, you have seen their faithfulness, their integrity, and their strength in the face of trials. You have refined them in the fire, and now as they step into their new role, we ask that you anoint them with the authority and wisdom to carry out your will. We declare that the doors of opportunity are opening wide before them, and we decree that the blessings you have stored up for them will begin to pour out in abundance. Father, we pray that you empower them to walk boldly as a cycle breaker, fully equipped to handle the weight of the authority you've placed on their shoulders. May they always walk in humility, always keeping their eyes fixed on you. May they remain steadfast in their integrity, no matter what temptations or distractions may come their way. Let your divine acceleration propel them into the fullness of their destiny, and let the power of your Spirit guide them every step of the way. We declare that the chains of their bloodline are broken, that generational curses are severed, and that a new legacy of blessing, integrity, and divine favor will be established for their family and beyond. Lord, we seal this moment, and we affirm that your plans for them are good. We trust that you will continue to lead them in the path you have prepared for them. In Jesus' name, Amen. Chosen one. This is your moment. Embrace it with confidence, knowing that you are divinely equipped for the journey ahead. The reward is yours, the authority is yours, and your destiny is unfolding before you. Step into it with all the boldness and strength that God has placed in you. This is just the beginning of something far greater than you could ever imagine. The best is yet to come.